So we're back in Lviv, Ukraine, and we're gonna meet an expat today and talk about his budget. What's his name, honey?
Michael.
Michael, that's right. And we're looking at a low budget of, I think he's gonna come in around $800 a month to live here in Lviv. So let's go meet Michael. Today we're with Michael Jost, and we're in this really cool place called Magic Bowl here in Lviv, Ukraine. And check out this salmon bowls Julie and I got here. And I think when all is said and done here, we're probably looking at a, what,
17. No, that'll be with coffee and drink. I mean, we both have lemonades.
Coffee.
So it's going to be about 17 to 18.
Yeah, about
US.
$17 or so, I think. That's about what we had the other night when we ate here. Great food. Great cost of living here in Lviv, Ukraine, but that's why we're here to talk to you today. We're going to talk about the cost of living, and this expat from the UK is here with us, and he's going to talk about his cost of living. But real quickly, let's give everybody a reminder of what your place looks like, because we did on our real estate video, we walked through your home. So let's take a look at your place one more time. Okay, so Rostislav, what are we looking at here today?
We're looking at this building. It's basically a family business of the landowners. You need like 25-30 minutes walking to this area, so it's very nice proximity to city center. Also it covers areas with office building nearby and also the universities. We will be looking at one specific apartment there, which is occupied by Mikhail, and so it's around 45 square meters. The rent in this building would be like $350-500 per month. Okay, depending on the size, on the exact floor, on the view, if it has a balcony, and the listing price would be like around $63,000 for sale of that exact unit.
Okay, keyless entry to this apartment. Okay, so we come on in. There's a place to hang some stuff at the front door. Have a little bit of cabinetry. Have a nice tub with a handheld shower, towel rack. Looks like a heated towel rack. Coming on over, we have the bedroom. It's a really good size. Looks like we have about a queen size bed in here for American standards. So you can see it's a pretty spacious room. Got a nice air breeze coming through the window. And coming in here to the living room kitchen area. It's a decent sized living room area. It's a full couch. Julie, have a seat on the couch for context of size here.
Oh, it's very large.
You all have seen Julie, so you can see that it's a decent sized sofa. And as we come over here, you'll see there's a dining area, seating for 4. Sink. Some pretty decent cabinetry in here. And there's an oven and a 2-burner stove. And a full-size refrigerator. And you like living here?
I do indeed. Yeah, it's a very nice place to live. I've been about 3 months.
About 3 months?
Yeah.
Super. Wow, and we got a really nice walk-in closet with
Yeah, that's substantial.
shelves and drawers, a couple racks to hang clothes. Really a substantial size closet. That was unexpected when these doors open. So, and I'll make my cameo appearance into this video. Wow, look at that, a washing machine here in the kitchen. That was unexpected.
And that included the internet, that included the water, that included my proportion of the gas heating. Well, there isn't really a gas heating at the moment, and the electric as well. Yeah.
So that's 400 Ukrainian hryvnia for the whole month for all the utilities.
He's
Yeah.
including internet.
Yes.
Internet and water, electric. Yeah.
Julie and I have IM Global Health insurance policies. We've had them since January of 2021. I went ahead and became an agent appointed with I Am Global, and I have an affiliate link in the video description. If you're interested in health coverage while you travel abroad from your home country as an expat, nomad, or missionary, long-term or short-term, please look at the link and see if there's a policy that's right for you. If you do purchase a policy through this link, I will receive a commission. That was a really nice apartment.
Yes.
Go ahead and share the your background, your information, and let's talk about your cost of living here. And I'll let you start with sharing with the folks.
Okay, hi everyone. Well, I'm Michael. I'm from the southern part of England, and I've been living in Lviv now for 4 months, and it's been a very good experience overall. What brings me here? Well, that's a good question. I came to a point in my life I wanted to change, and I wanted something different from the lifestyle that I had in the UK. And I was looking abroad for a potential place to move to. I considered various options. I considered Montenegro, I considered Bulgaria, but I did spend some time in Ukraine previously, and I got to know the city of Lviv as a tourist, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And then that's when my love of the city started. And over the last couple of years, I started to look into more definitively about moving here full time. And I completed that process, obtained a 3-year work and residency permit. And my plan was initially to come here in March last year, but with the situation, as we could call it, the situation, yeah, let's be polite about it. Everyone's plans kind of changed, including my own, so I got delayed for a year. And I came out here in April the 13th, and it's been a great experience since.
Great.
You worked with Rossi. He helped you to find your home. Rostislav was the guy that helped us with the real estate video. First, if you don't mind, what was your cost, or what is your monthly expenses to live there? And we covered that a little bit in the video, but if you want to expound on that, tell us about your monthly costs and what's it taking for you to live here in Lviv?
Yeah, sure, no problem. So my rent I pay for the apartment is $400 or 11,000 hryvnia per month. Running cost at the moment, because I don't have air conditioning, it's only around 500 hryvnia. So that includes electricity, water, internet, proportion of the heating as well. So I don't think there's any kind of municipality tax included at all. So that in itself is very, very good. Mm-hmm. In terms of my regular, what I call everyday living costs, and I live well here, I'm trying to think, I think I could probably spend maybe $700 a month, maybe less, depending on the lifestyle I want and how often I go out as well. So what I would class what the sort of food you're eating now, I would class it to be of a very good quality. And I think it's quite typical for the sort of meal that I would have out, and you've illustrated yourself what you can get for the money here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're finding when we go out to eat, we probably average somewhere between $6 to $8 each per meal when we're looking at a lunch or dinner type of meal, and maybe it's a little bit less on breakfast.
Yeah.
Definitely less on breakfast.
Yeah.
And I would concur. I would say it depends on your drinks.
Yeah.
Drinks will definitely make it go up.
Yeah. Particularly certain types of drinks. I feel that there's within Lviv in particular, and all across Ukraine, what you'll class as elite or prestige drinks, the markup on those is particularly high in comparison to local items.
Yes.
Like the coffee we're drinking here, this will cost about $1.30 in the US, but if you were to take a particular type of cocktail in one of the more popular prestige bars, that can cost up to, I would say about $12, maybe $13 a cocktail as well, which is
Wow.
yeah. So there doesn't seem to be that much in between. So it can be, overall, most things are extremely good value, but also very good quality, and I thought that's the important
Yes, they
point.
are.
Yeah.
But there are occasionally items you just have to look at the price, be a little bit careful. Is that quite the bargain it looks? Particularly if you're buying something which is, the price is designated by the weights, including steaks and tuna and those kind of items as well.
Yes.
So that's something definitely to be careful of.
And I think when Julie and I are going out, we've been really focusing on some of maybe the more popular areas of town. So I'm sure that we are probably spending a little bit more. Have you found if you're outside of the city center and you're in maybe a little more local establishment, a little
Yeah.
bit further out,
Yeah.
is your cost to go out to eat and cost for going out for a drink maybe lower than
They
right
ca-
here in town?
They can be in the main. What is often interesting, even in that scenario, is that you can get places which are often very affordable right next to places which are very, very expensive, even outside of the main city centre as well. So it's just a question of trying to find the places which meet your requirements, what you want, and your budget as well. But what I do find, and I struggle here to have what I would class as a bad meal.
Yeah.
As in terms of
I
like
agree.
poor quality. What I find here is because there are so many dining and drinking establishments or coffee places, and it's designed principally in the main for Ukrainian market. If it was poor, if it was a rip-off, it just wouldn't stay in business very long.
No.
It wouldn't be able to survive. Local people wouldn't allow it to survive.
I agree. And don't you find that everything is impeccably clean as well?
The standards are good,
I think so.
very, very good. The standards are very good, yeah. So no complaints to it.
Streets are clean. Everything's clean. I mean, it is truly a beautiful environment.
We have not been to a dirty restaurant or anywhere that
no.
has been less than A plus
Absolutely.
as far as a rating. It's easy to find good, clean restaurants and feel like the food's safe here.
Oh, definitely. And
Yeah.
for someone who has suffered when it isn't, definitely, it has been fantastic.
Yeah. Same thing for me. I have a very, very few bad dining experiences here, and all the times I've eaten out.
Yes.
It's all good. It's all good. And you can find, it's a question of, like, if you're prepared to do a bit of legwork, you can find what you want. It might not always be that easy to find to begin with, but if you put a little bit of effort in, you'll find exactly what you want.
Now, one thing about restaurants, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, when we go out to eat, something we had to get used to is oftentimes you will feel ignored by staff when you go out because, and we've learned a little bit, but because going out to eat is a treat for most people in Ukraine,
Yeah.
that they don't want to feel like they're being pressured to buy more, and so they'll order and then they'll receive their food or drink, and then you might not see the waiter or waitress again unless you hound them to come back because they don't want to put pressure on the customer because then that customer won't come back. Where conversely in the United States and other countries around the world, and this is not just for Ukraine I'm speaking about the Balkans as well. When you're in the United States, that waitress and waiter are coming back every 5 minutes while you're trying to put food in your mouth, interrupting you to find out if you need anything else.
Correct.
And you almost can't get rid of them. You don't have that problem here. You can get very lonely, and if you're at a bar, it's going to be hard to get drunk because you have to wait a long time to get that second beer.
But there are pros and cons to that. So, one of the things is that you could come here, you could spend 2 hours, have an Americano coffee, enjoy yourself, play on your laptop, do things, and no one's going to bother you or ask you to leave. And I'm very sensitive to smoke, and I will tell you, I believe it's law. You're not allowed to smoke inside the establishments. Maybe bars and pubs and such you can, but I believe restaurants you are not allowed except for outside. And so here has been wonderful.
I'm going to have to say this now. There are differences of culture here, particularly if you're coming from, say, North America or from Western Europe, is the differences of culture that you have to adapt to. And the onus is on you as the outsiders to adapt. So sometimes it's relatively minor things. Like people's perception of space here perhaps can be somewhat different to what you're used to. And also their sense of awareness of people around them. So little small things such as it would appear like sometimes people just don't look where they're going on the streets. The standard of driving here, frankly, it's not that great as well, if I'm being honest with you. It's one of those things that's like every place you go to has got some cons, it's got pros as well. From my perspective, I'd say the pros far outweigh the cons, and I'm having a very good quality of life here that I would be difficult to replicate elsewhere.
Yes.
Well, as far as the driving, I will say the cobblestone roads look really, really pretty,
So beautiful.
but driving on cobblestone, not so pretty. And it can be really, really hard to find a parking space here. We walk most places. We have our cars, we've got Abby, our Citroen Berlingo. It stays parked most of the time. It's easier for us to walk 15, 20, 25 minutes to go somewhere than to actually get in the vehicle, drive through the traffic, and get to the location that we're going to in probably about the same amount of time, and then have to struggle to find the parking space. Most expats seem to try to find something within about a 20-minute walking distance from the center of town and Ivan Franko Park. That seems to be kind of the center of the universe for the expat community. I think maybe 85% of the expats live within that area.
Yeah.
How is your relationship with the expat community here? And we know it's very international, but what kind of things do people do, and how do you meet them?
I think that's a very good question, and as you rightly say, the proportion of the expat population here, so the amount of people living in Lviv is relatively small, but it's quite high profile, and so most of the expat community, they would tend to know each other, and you might be 1 or 2 degrees of separation. And we tend to, most of the people get introduced to one expat, say, by some of the Facebook groups here. And so and then that starts the ball rolling to start the beginning of like a community where people have meetups as well. You often have lots of coffee meetups in particular, cultural meetups as well.
Oh, nice.
As well, and that's how you get to. What you'll find is that once you get to know one person, you'll find that you might meet another person, and then you'll find that those 2 people will know other people, and you'll find that when you even meet people completely out of the blue for the first time in a completely unrelated environment, that person you would have met that time knows the other people. Yes. It's like 1 or 2 degrees of separation as well. So that's the really good thing here, is that community is quite well integrated, but it's also very well integrated with a part of the Ukrainian population who want to work with international people, but particularly to improve their own standard of English.
Right.
And so both groups kind of come together and they support each other and they learn from each other. It's a very good experience.
There's an expat here, Peter, that owns a little bar outside of it's not near the city center, and every Thursday they have an expat meetup. So I'm going to show you what that looks like, and if you're here on a Thursday, you can go meet expats very easily. Peter set up an unusual bear garden outside of the main center of Lviv, and it's a popular place for expats to go, and he has foreign bear here. It's a little bit more pricey than what you'll find in town, but it's a great bear. Peter, want to say anything about your place here?
Well, I established it actually just 2 weeks ago, so we're fairly new, and yeah, we're serving German beers in Ukraine, but also Ukrainian stuff, of course, and some German bratwurst, if you know what that is, German sausage. And yeah, we just thought it's a nice place to open here. It's a bit different than what you usually find in cities like Lviv, but it's away from the center, so it's a bit like, let's say, less crowded as the city center. But yeah, I love it here. I hope you will too.
So Julie and I jumped up in the back of that dump truck there, and we were joined with expats from England, France, Germany, as well as America, and we had friends from Ukraine that were there to mingle with expats as well. It was a nice evening. So you can see it's going to be very easy to meet people here. There's these informal get-togethers, and when you get to these expat community events, people are just introducing themselves. When you're a new face, you make new friends instantly, and
Yes.
you can exchange contact information. So if you come here, you're not alone very long, or not here without knowing somebody very long, unless you desire that.
So even like someone like myself, as a fairly as a stranger in a strange city, I found integrating myself with the expat community here to be fairly straightforward. I made some good friends here.
You know, I think if you think about, you were saying your budget's running $750, $800. We're saying U.S., correct?
Yeah, that's right.
If you think about it, if you put that in terms of living in, say, Southeast Asia, we won't go into any particular country, but Southeast Asia, you would expect that your apartment might be, it's going to be small, or it may be a very large apartment, but not well appointed.
Yes.
And your restaurants, you might be eating off of carts, or different things.
Street food or something.
Food, here, don't you feel like you really are in a cosmopolitan environment? You have the best, you have the cleanest, and just most amazing food. I mean, there's anything at your doorstep.
That is it, and like I was saying, it's difficult to replicate this type of lifestyle elsewhere in terms of the opportunity to have it, the quality of it, and the affordability of it as well.
Yeah, I would say if you're living here on $1,000 a month, it would be equivalent to probably $4,500 a month in many places in the
I
U.S.
concur, and probably Western Europe.
Most places, yes, I can think of.
It's your dollar goes a long way in.
If you check up Numbio statistics, I mean, it's amazing.
But just looking at what it costs for Julie and I on a month-to-month basis here, and we're going out to eat, we're going to the restaurants. We'd be hard pressed to say on our food side with groceries and going out all the time that we're not even over $1,000, and we are. We're living probably far more extravagantly than somebody that would live here full time.
Oh, that's great.
Because we're exploring things, and
Yes.
so we're
bringing content to you.
Yeah. So we're bringing content to me.
Very good.
So
Very good.
we appreciate your
Absolutely.
time. This was really an unexpected treat that you volunteered to come hang out with us.
Welcome.
And
Very
do
welcome.
this interview with us. And if anybody has questions, please leave them in the description below. Don't forget to like this video, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to follow Julie and I as we travel around the world. And of course, we're focusing on Europe probably for the next 5 to 10 years. But if you want to follow us along, subscribe. I want to give a thank you to Magic Bowl for letting us sit in their restaurant. And they have fresh foods, fresh salads, and it's all reasonably priced. So we give them a 2 thumbs up and tell you to go check them out. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Have a nice day.
You too. As a reminder, Julie and I, we're traveling the world with our 2 dogs, and we hope that you'll subscribe and join us as we continue our adventures and travel across Europe. And we'll check out the cost of living and share our experiences with you. And until next time, have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.